All right, hello. Thank you for watching this video. This video is going to be all on graphing lines, so linear equations. So a bunch of, how many, I think like 7 examples of graphing some lines depending on different types of problems you might get. So like this problem, you could get, or something like this, you can get a couple different ways or a couple different problems that a teacher might ask you. A problem, what to solve. So the first one might be just like, what's the slope? What is the slope of this equation? So one thing that could be asked of you might be, what's the slope? All right, so if we were to find the slope, what I do is I just pick anywhere and I just start going along the function, along the line, until I find where it crosses perfectly with the grid. And I see right here, that is somewhere where it crosses perfectly. And then I just keep going and I find the next spot. And I see that it crosses perfectly right here also. So using those 2 points, I'm going to create a right triangle. All right, so I got my right triangle. And in this case, what I have is I have my run and I have my rise. All right, so now slope is rise over run. Now this is a positive slope because how I think about this is, first off, you always start on the left side, and I envision it as a guy that needs to walk up this hill. He is trying to walk up this hill. All right, so you got to walk up it. It's a positive slope. We have a positive slope. All right, and I envision it as a ramp. All right, you got to walk up this ramp. So we got a run and a rise. So in this case, slope would be equal to, my rise is +2, and my run is 3. So slope in this case is 2/3, 2 over 3. Now, if you do not see this, and you might be a student that's, let's say, sees this point right here, that's a good point, and maybe sees this point. This is fine too. This is 100% accurate. I'm just going to need to remember that if you're going to get a run, in this case of 6, and a rise in this case of 4, that if you're going to get 4 over 6, that needs to be simplified to 2/3, right? 4/6 is correct. It's just not simplified, right? This is over 6 up 4, over 6 up 4. But simplified, it is actually over 3 up 2, over 3 up 2, over 3 up 2, over 3 up 2, over 3 up 2. So you can do that. Totally fine if you get 4 over 6 or 9 over 12. Whatever you get, you just need to simplify it as much as you possibly can. All right, so we got the slope. The other thing is the y-intercept. Now, the y-intercept is always going to be where the line crosses the y-axis. So where does the line cross the y-axis? Well, in this case, it crosses it at 0. So in this case, the y-intercept is 0. Now, why are these important bits of information? Because another type of question you might get is, write the equation for the line. So equations, right? You're gonna have y equals mx plus b. This is slope-intercept form. So this is slope intercept form. All right, and slope-intercept form gives you the slope and the y-intercept. So what we're looking at here is m is the slope and B is the y-intercept. Now y and x are y and x's, right? So, but slope is m and B is y-intercept. Well, my slope is 4/3 and my y-intercept is 0. So you can write your equation y equals 2/3 x. And do I need to write plus 0? Do I need to add on 0? No. There's no point adding on 0. Adding on 0 does nothing. So that is right there. That is the equation in slope-intercept form. That's the equation. All right, so you can get slope, right? You can get the y-intercept, and then you can use both of those to get your equation. All right, do some more examples. So here is a negative slope example. So again, I envision a guy that is having to walk up or down. In this case, got this guy that is having to walk down this, having to walk down, going down the staircase. All right. All right, so let's find the slope. So I go along and I just find my first point. I go along, I find my next point. Well, this one is super quick. So my rise, this is my run, which isn't very much. Neither of them are very much. So my slope, which again is rise over run, is going to be equal to, well, it goes down 1, so that's going to be -1 because it's going down. It's a negative slope, and the run is 1. Well, what is -1 divided by 1? That's just equal to -1. So my slope is -1. My y-intercept, though, this time is going to be +3. So this time the y-intercept is +3. So again, we are going to then create an equation from these two pieces of information. So we got y equals -1x plus 3. All right, because this here is m and this here is b. Now, I do want to say that I would actually, if I was the person answering this problem, writing the equation, I would not put -1x. I would actually change this to b, y equals -x plus 3. You don't have to put the 1. Now, that doesn't make it wrong. It's just one less thing to write. It's just a little bit more simplified, So there's an example of a negative slope, right? You just trek along the line until you find where it crosses. Again, totally would have been fine if, let's say, you saw like this point and this point. All you would have had to have done, if you would have saw those 2 points, is, oh, well, this is down 4 and this is over 4. So what is -4 divided by 4? Well, that is also -1, right? So you just have to simplify whatever the fraction is you get until it's the most simplified. Okay. Now I got some special cases here. We have some special lines. So looking at these lines, we got some fairly special lines here. We got a perfectly horizontal and a perfectly vertical line. Everywhere on this line, even in the middle, everywhere, no matter where I put a point on this line, no matter where I do it, there's something special happening. Everywhere on that line, the y value is always 4. So this line, this equation, the equation for this line is just y always equals 4. Everywhere on that line, y is equal to 4. So why is that? Well, what's the slope? The slope is 0, right? So if the slope is 0, so if I was to create the full equation, which is y equals 0x plus 4, well, what's 0 times x? What's 0 times anything? It's 0. So that just cancels out and you're left with y equals 4. So that's why it's y equals 4, is because the slope is 0 and 0 times x cancels out. So you just get y equals 4. Everywhere on this line, y is 4. Well, how about this other line? This other line, the y values are changing, but the x values are always everywhere on this line. Everywhere on this line, right? The x value here, oh, -4. The x value up here, oh, -4. The x value here, -4. Everywhere on this line, the x value is equal to -4. All right. What's the slope here? So here the slope is slope equals 0. Here the slope is undefined. Now, why is it undefined? Well, slope is rise over run, right? Rise over run. Well, in this case, what's the run? Like, does it go left or right? No, it doesn't. The run is 0. Now, the rise is all over the place. It can be infinite. So really, it can be infinite. The problem is, though, is you can't divide by 0. Can you cut a pizza into 0 slices? Some people, a lot of students are like, yeah, you can just eat it. That's technically not cutting it, right? Can you cut a pizza into 0 slices? Well, yeah. Then some are like, oh, well, just don't cut it. Well, isn't that just one big piece of pizza? A whole pizza is technically one piece, right? I think, pretty sure. So you can't divide by 0. You can't break something into 0 parts. No matter what, there's one part, the whole. It's either you break it apart into at least, well, you can break it into fractional parts, but you can't break it into 0 parts. Not possible. Moving on before I ramble too much and confuse even myself. All right, now here's going to be some very specific questions that you might get. So this one, find the equation of the line that passes through the points 4, 1 and -4, 3. So what you're going to do here is, to find the equation of the line, you're going to first graph the line. So you're going to plot 4, 1, and just reminder, this is an x, y coordinate, x, y coordinate. So 4, 1, I'm going to go to 4 and then up to 1. And then -4, 3, I'm going to go over to -4, and then up to 3. I'm going to grab my handy dandy ruler. And I am going to do, to the best of my ability, nice little sketch through here. All right, and then on the end, got to put my arrows because this goes on forever. It doesn't just stop. Goes on forever. All right. So now we can find the equation of the line. So the equation of the line, again, is going to be y equals mx plus b. That's the easiest form. If you have a graph, to just look at and find y equals mx plus b. So we got y equals mx plus b. So we need to find m and we need to find b. Well, b is the y-intercept, right? This is the y-intercept. M is the slope. So the y-intercept is 2. All right, so our y-intercept right here is 2. All right, now we just need to find the slope. Well, I can use this point right here and go over to this point here, build my right triangle. So this is going to be down -1, so down 1, and then over 1, 2, 3, 4, so over 4. So slope is going to be, so m equals -1/4, b equals 2. So then you write the equation, right? We got the equation. Y equals -1/4 x plus 2. Now again, how do you know if it's negative or positive? Starting on the left to the right, you got your little dude over here, right? And he is walking down the hill, down the ramp, walking down the ramp. All right. So again, this is for an equation, finding the equation of a line that passes through these 2 points. So you plot those 2 points, right? You use a ruler, draw through them. If you're on a computer program, it might already automatically just do it like it does for my students. Fun stuff. Next example. The next example is, hey, here's the equation, graph it. So again, this is M, this is B. Now B includes the plus or minus there. So B is -2. So that's what I start with. I'm always going to start with B, which is the y-intercept. All right. So the y-intercept is -2. So I'm going to come down here where it crosses the y-axis and put my starting point. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this in blue. I put my starting point at -2. All right. And then my slope is positive 5/3. So positive 5/3 means I'm going to go up 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So I got this part of my right triangle, and then I'm going to go from here over 3. So over 3. There's my point. Now you could just grab a ruler and go through these. I like to build my staircase, so I'm going to go up another 5 and then over 3. I'm also going to go backwards so you can build the staircase this direction. So this way 3, down 5. So now I got quite a few points to go on with my ruler. So I'm going to line all these up with my ruler. Try and get them as lined up as possible. All right. Looking good. So there's my line of that equation. I got my slope, which is 5, up 5 over 3. All right. Up 5 over 3. And why is it up? Because it is a positive slope. Positive slope means I got my guy walking up the staircases. Right. So if I were to make this fun little staircase down here, got my staircase right there. So it's over 3, and this would technically go down a couple more down to here. But I got my guy taking his steps. Right, taking his steps. Ooh, big feet. He is walking up. Walking up the stairs. Positive slope. Positive slope. Walking up the stairs. There's my art skills. Stick figures for the win. Yes. All right. How many more do I got? I got 2 more examples. Bear with me. This one is the same thing. I threw it on here though because some students struggle with when they can't visually see M. So in this case, students sometimes ask, what is slope X? No, slope is not X. Slope is 1 because there's 1x. If there's just an x there, it's 1x because 1 times x is x. So 1x, so a slope is 1, y-intercept is 3. So I'm going to start at 3, and I'm going to go up 1. Now the other question is, well, if I go up 1, how many over do I go? And by the way, when I say over, I always mean to the right. You always go left to right, right? That's why all my little dudes are walking from the left to the right, left to right. So what you're going to do is you're going to go over 1. Whenever you have a whole number, let's say that your slope is equal to 4. Technically, that is over 1. Because what's 4 divided by 1? 4. Let's say your slope is negative 12. Technically, that's down 12 over 1. Because 12 or negative 12 divided by 1 is negative 12. Just remember, if you have a whole number, you are going to go over 1. All right, so I'm going to build my staircase, go up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1. I'm going to go backwards a little bit. That's probably enough. Make sure I still get a straight line here. Looks pretty accurate there, I think. Oh, out of focus. All right, so put my arrows on here. All right, so there is the equation. You start at the y-intercept, which was 3. All right, that was the y-intercept, and then you go up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1. And again, why are we going up? Because the slope is positive, so we are walking up the staircase, not down the staircase. Left to right. Last one. Now this one, you're going to graph using x and y intercepts. Now this is not in slope intercept form. This is in what is called standard form, which is, if I go down here, well, I can fit it in here, right? It's ax plus by equals c. Now, the way to do this is, I'm going to show a trick at the end, but the right way to do this, and the way that I always teach it, and then I show students the quicker way to do it, is if I want to find, let's say, the x-intercept, well, what is the y value on the x-axis? The y value, which is up and down, on the x-axis is 0. So if I want to find the x-intercept, you can plug in 0 for y and then solve for x. Same goes as if you want to find the y-intercept, well, what is the x value on the y-axis? 0. So you can plug in 0 for x to solve for the y-intercept. Now, when you plug in 0, what is the point of doing that? What happens? Well, what's anything times 0? 0, so it disappears. So instead of actually doing the algebra part of that, I, after making my students do it, am then okay with them. Oh, well, how about if the whole point is multiplying by 0 cancels, gets rid of it, let's just get rid of it. So if I want to find the x-intercept, I just cover up the y's. And what is 12 divided by 2? 6. So my x-intercept is 6. Really important, if you're doing the x-intercept, you put it on the x-axis. Okay, well, and remember that was 12 divided by 2. 12 divided by 2. Let's say I want to find the y-intercept now. Okay, well, let's get rid of the x. What is, and really important, that is a -4, right? This is a -4. So what's 12 divided by -4? -3. So my y-intercept is -3. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. That gives me my x-intercept. 12 divided by -4 is -3. That gives me my y-intercept. Let's grab my ruler, handy dandy ruler. Get those as close as I can. There is my line for that equation. All right. So again, to find the x-intercept, and actually I'll show you down here using these letters. If you want to find the x-intercept, so x-intercept, that is equal to c divided by a. And if I want to find the y-intercept, that is equal to c divided by b, right? There's a, there's b. So if I want to find the x-intercept, 12 divided by 2. If I want to find the y-intercept, 12 divided by -4. Hope that helped. Hope this video helped. Might have been fairly long. Feel like I talked for a while. But thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.